Are we on? Are we there? Are we here? Hello? Everybody. Can you see me? Oh gosh, well, I've gone terribly wrong with a spell somewhere here, and I apologize in advance. I thought I used the correct spell to grant you all millions of dollars and infinite wishes, but instead I now look like a fey creature. That's very, very creepy. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope you're well. We do have live captioning as well. There seems to be an issue with Zoom not allowing it. So we apologize for that. There's a new update apparently that they haven't fixed for us yet. I hope everybody's doing well. I know, we're getting down to the wire on registration for the Wizards and Weirdos Mini Hunt. Just the first thing to know is don't panic. You won't die. And you just got to roll with it. And I think, there's a lot to talk about. If you've never done GISH before, there's a lot to cover here. And GISH is sometimes a tricky thing to explain. So hopefully today we will introduce you to the world of GISH and make it easier to explain to others, to get them to join you, and also for you to have the best time possible. I am here for you as your oracle, your 20-sided oracle. I should probably change this because it's a little hard to see. Hi everybody, I'm Charlie, and I'm going to be here to tell you all about things that you always wanted to know about GISH, maybe everything you wanted to know or didn't want to know, stuff like that. Just first off the bat, here at the School of Weirdos and WTFery, we don't use AstroTurf. There's no turfs of any kind, no turfing. Just disregard turf in general. We have natural grass. All grasses are welcome. We're going to go over some stuff here. So if you have questions, go ahead and add them to the Q&A, and we'll try to get through some of those. I'm going to go through some common questions. I don't know what, I got something on my hand earlier, and I don't know what that is. But basically, it's nice to meet you all. And I'm excited. I know you're probably terrified and excited and terra-sighted or scare-sighted, as we call it. Maybe we could just start off with like a little round of people raising their hands. So we're going to lower all the hands for a second. And just let us know, who here has never done GISH before? Who has never GIShed before? If you could just raise your hand and let me know, that would be super helpful, because then I can see how many people we're dealing with who have no idea what this is. Great. Wow. Okay, that's a solid number. This is exciting. These mini hunts have been a lot of fun for all of us, with me and Misha, and I'll get into all that in a second, but it's been really cool because there's a lot of new people. So let's just get into it, huh? What is this thing? What is GISH? GISH is the Greatest International Scavenger Hunt, and it is Misha Collins's global Guinness World Record setting game that gamifies doing good and pushes your boundaries and embarrasses you and gets you creative, and it's a lot of fun. This mini GISH is only 36 hours. So it allows you to get creative, reconnect with people from around the world, which is a huge part of what Misha's wanted for this. And I help him with it. So I'm Charlie. I am Vice President of Stuff and Things here. And I am here to help enact this vision that Misha Collins has, and try to help change the world with your help. So it's incredible, the feats of brilliance and the fails that happen, and there's just a lot of memory. So we're in the memory making business. But this is all about art and kindness and making the world a better place, all within a really short space of time. Last year, you helped raise a ton of money for some people in need and people who deserve support, including the NAAC Legal Defense Fund, No Kid Hungry, UNICEF, Nothing But Nets, helping to get malaria nets to people in need for that. I mean, over 15,000 nets. It's incredible. Those are nets that are going to keep people alive and keeping them healthy. But what do you actually do in GISH? That's the most common question. So I'm just going to go through a little bit here and talk about it for a second. So first you sign up, obviously. And when you sign up, you can choose whether you're in it to win it or just for fun. You can be both in your heart, but we prefer that you pick a category so that you can say, I want to be going for the most points, the most submissions that I can on the scavenger hunt. Or I'm just going to do like a little bit more chill. We're just going to have some fun and we're going to play around and see how it goes. The people in the in it to win it category and the people in the just for fun category can win GISH, the GISH hunt. So just that's something to note right off the bat. So next, once you've signed up, you're going to build or join a team. And then you're going to invite people to that team, hopefully. And then you're going to hunt. And that's when a list of challenges are posted. And those are called items. And items, there's an item list. And basically, you want to complete that item or that challenge as best you can, or with as much fun and abandon, and like just go for it, right? And let's, you know what, actually, let's show some examples. If my owl Hedwig could show us here, Hedwig. Well, I'm sorry, the lawyers say I can't say that word. Hardwing. Can you show us some images of stuff that we've done in the past? That's awesome. So you can see here, the art, it can be really spectacular. I'm not a visual artist myself. So when I see this, I get a little intimidated. But here we have Den Levy. We ask you to do creative things to push your boundaries. Whether you're good or not at a particular style of art, it really doesn't matter. It's the pushing yourself and having fun and going for something that you have in your mind. That's your vision. That's the most important thing. So here's just a few examples real quick. But you're going to do these things and you're going to upload those to us. So we'll go into how to do uploading in a second, but you're going to upload your photos. You're going to upload the links to your videos to us, and then you earn points and you could win prizes. So it's pretty simple just to start there. So the next thing is, well, how do you actually play? And to do that, I feel like the only way to do that is probably to have Hermione explain this to you, obviously. So how do you play? Well, first you register for the hunt. And if you can't afford to play, we still want you to play. And so you can apply for a GISH scholarship. And GISH scholarships are donated registrations. We grant them throughout the registration period and even just after registration ends. But watch your email and your spam folders, obviously. You know, sometimes GISH emails go to the spam folder. And so you might want to check that out. We're you know, a business that's on the up and up, obviously. But sometimes they like to penalize our emails for some reason because we're just so excited. The next thing you're going to do, oh, we've got some questions here too. Danielle, how close to D&D is this going to be? Will we need dice? If you can construct dice, you might want to do that. If you have dice on hand, great. If you don't have dice, that'll be okay too. Remember, you're going to be on a team with anywhere from 9 to 15 players, and hopefully someone there will have some dice on hand. But you'll know more once that list is dropped. And part of the fun of it is not knowing and then having to come up with some fun, well, just some fun solutions to these things. We can also get into supplies in a moment. I think before we get into like what you need for the hunt, let's talk about how to do it, and then we'll get to that next. So how to play. You're going to register. You are going to, let's see here. You are going to build or join a team. So that process is pretty simple. What you want to do is you, once you've joined, you log in, and it's going to ask you to build or find a team. And on the app and on the website, there'll be a place where you can do that. You can find teams by finding other people that you know or entering their email or name. You can search in those fields and find people. You can also on the app go into your map. There's a little geo map, and you can look and see how many Gishers are near you. And you can invite them to your team if you build it, or you can find teams as well. Teams are 9 to 15 players. And here's where it gets interesting. So it used to be that every team was 15 players After several years of doing it that way, we decided to give people more control over how many people are on their team. So here's what we decided to do. You invite people to your team. You can use an invite link. So there's a little invite area on the website when you log in. Or you can actually use a thing called a referral code. And that code is basically a link that you can put in text messages or instant messages or anywhere you want. And if they click on that and they join, they'll be automatically added to your team. It's pretty easy. So you tell people to join. You can sign up by yourself or with other people, and make a team as big as you want to, between 9 and 15 players. And if you don't have a full team, meaning you don't have between 9 and 15 players, we'll add people to your team from around the world. And there's no cooler experience. I will tell you, I don't think a winning team has ever been comprised of fewer than 3 countries, to my knowledge. It's generally more, and we've had people from all over the world. We're in over 100 countries. So it's pretty cool. And I know I've been feeling more isolated with the pandemic and being stuck at home. So it feels pretty good to be able to communicate with people on halfway around the world. So highly recommend that as well. Let's see. So you should use some of the places to help you build that team or join other teams. We can recommend the Bunker, the GISH Bunker on Facebook. We have a Facebook group called the GISH Bunker. There's a thread going on in there that GISHbot, our resident electronic life form, is putting on for us. A thread there, people looking for teams or looking for teammates. We also recommend the app, as I said, social media, etc. You can always comment on some of our posts and say, hey, I'm looking for a team, and then find other weirdos around you. But if you're going to join a team that already exists, make sure you ask the captain or talk to someone on the team first. It's not polite to join teams without asking, and it's kind of like showing up unannounced. And if you're not wearing the right attire or you haven't asked consent or permission first, we generally believe that consent is one of the most important things for human relationships. So let's do that with our teams, shall we? Next, let's see, captains, 1 captain per team. You get to choose. You can change the captain status. The captain can give their captainship to someone else. Let's see here, seeing something. Oh, yes. Someone's asking, well, we'll get to the hunt list itself, and then we'll talk a little bit about items and things. But let's see. People are also asking if Misha will be a part of this hunt, this mini hunt. The answer is yes. He will be joining us. We are so lucky to have Felicia Day, our Wizard of Weird. She has some amazing books about really embracing your weird, and we're so privileged to have her. She is an expert in this topic of fantasy and all things magic and lore based in this world, and she's going to be a riot. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we can't wait to announce some of the panelists that we'll be having as well. We have some live panels coming up, which we can talk to you about as well. Misha is the mastermind of GISH. So the first thing to know is that you can always blame Misha for the things that you're undergoing. Many do. Many people have even created their own apparel around saying, damn it, Misha, or blame Misha. This is still true and accurate. So if you see the hunt list, just know that there is a mastermind named Misha Collins who is responsible for your demise. /fun. Next, let's see. So captains, okay, a little bit more about teams. If you don't have a full team, we merge you with other people from around the world. Really awesome. You're going to create GFFs, GISH Friends for Life. It is, that will happen basically after registration. So registration closes on the 2nd. Team merge will happen shortly thereafter. And then there'll be a period of time where we're still mixing and matching people from around the world. And then you will have probably Friday-ish, maybe even a little bit of Thursday to get to know your fellow teammates before you get started on the hunt, March 6th. So a little bit more about this merger. If your team is a smaller team and there's a bigger team that you're being added to, the bigger team will retain their captain status. So If you want to ensure that your captain remains the captain of your team, just grow your team a little bit more. Go to the bunker, talk to other people. That would be the way to do that. If you want to avoid this and you reach 9 players or above, you can lock your team. That tool is part of your, if you're a captain, that's where you'll do that. You can lock your team at 9 or above, so no one else can join, which is great. So it can be 10, 11, 15, etc. And you lock your team in your team settings on the website. Cool. Any other questions about teams joining or inviting? Great. Excellent. Excellent. Someone has asked, well, let's get to that in a second. We're gonna get, I'm seeing the questions coming in. You guys have some great questions. So we're gonna get to those in just a moment. But first, I'm gonna go ahead and continue to change my filter for no reason other than I sound boring. If you're looking for a team to join, you can always go to the GISH bunker. You can also find teams within the app and, as I said, within the website. You can search for teams there. There are other Facebook groups as well. You're free to go find teams there too. But a lot of times we will, we'll put up a post and you'll see people under there saying, hey, I need a team, or hey, I have a team. We need 2 more people. There we go. You can, my hand became a block. So definitely check that out. There's a lot, you want to get all your team elements together, which is why I want to talk a little bit about communication. The key to beating Misha's list really comes down to communication. And actually, Jeffrey, our interpreter here, is a former winner. And Jeffrey's team had a very interesting communication structure. No winning team has ever, and I know this from inside information, has ever had the same style of communication and structure. So there is no one right way to win, but communication has always been the key. The captain should reach out to all their team members. They should decide how they'll communicate, and you can use whatever method you like. There's a lot of different ways to do it. People use Discord, people use different chats, Google Hangout, Zoom, texting, emailing. They use a lot of different things, but reach out to everybody, reach out to your fellow team members. If you're the captain, reach out to all your teammates, and make sure that you are in touch. And it's okay if people aren't in touch at first. Sometimes it takes them a little bit, or they're a little worried. You guys are smart because you folks have come here to find out more information and get some questions answered. So that's great. When you're a captain, you aren't necessarily much different from the rest of your crew, but you have tools which are adding people and removing people from your team. You can lock your team, and if you win, we typically reach out to the captain first. So you have some responsibilities, but it's your job to figure out how you're going to approach all those challenges and how you're going to approach the list, who's uploading, things like that. And we'll talk about that in a second. But always communicate. Don't ghost on people. Ghosting is, if you're not familiar, ghosting is where this just got really intense, I know. But ghosting is where you leave your teammates without any communication. And if you don't respond, they don't know what they need to do in order to help you play. And it's oftentimes there are people who feel like, maybe they've gotten in over their head. The key to the list, in my opinion, is finding things you can do, starting off with the doable stuff. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, start with that and then move on, and move to the next thing and the next thing. And you might find by the end of it that there's a whole lot that you can achieve if you just stick with it. So yeah, make sure from us in terms of communication, make sure that you are following us on social media. Make sure you're looking at the updates page, which is gish.com/updates. We post updates to the hunt list, important information, changes to things, news, etc. there. You also want to make sure that you're on our email lists and whatnot, because we also send out updates that way, and make sure you have the app. So from March 3rd to 5th, you're going to get to know your team, and you'll sort out how you communicate. And then, if you don't get a hold of them via email, maybe go on the GISH app and DM them, or log into the website and email them. We're seeing a couple of questions about the weekend. If you are working that weekend, let your team members know. Let them know how much you can participate. Be transparent about what you can do, because we want everybody to have a good time. And I know Misha is planning some fun, easy things for you guys, and maybe some harder, more creative, more in-depth items as well. So, there's going to be a mixture of a lot of different ranges of how hard or difficult these items are. We always try to make sure that the items have multiple applications. We know that people are in different places with different levels of shutdown or quarantine. We know that some people are, maybe the mobility is an issue for some people, or accessibility is an issue. So we go through the list, and Misha makes sure to try to make something for everybody, and make sure that as much of the list as possible is as approachable and interesting as possible. So there are going to be items on there that maybe seem out of the realm of possibility, and that's okay. Let's see. Someone else has asked, will the mini hunt be exclusively online? This is a virtual event. You can play from anywhere. So if you ever have a friend who's like, I don't feel like going outside. I don't know. Just know that it's okay. It's all of this is meant to be fun. So we're trying to keep, whether you're stuck at home or, your area is opening up a bit more, follow the local guidelines, stay healthy, stay safe, stay legal within the legal rules, please, for our benefit and yours. And you know what? It's okay to be anxious about some of this stuff. It's a very strange time, and we're all living through, a pretty wild moment. And hopefully, if you're feeling anxious about it, just take a look at all the fun things that you could do and try one out, have some fun. I think it's okay if you're feeling worried or stressed out. That's pretty common for us. I think I don't know many people who don't have some feelings of trepidation about the time that we're living in. But you know what? We'll get through it together. And you know what? When we all come together, some magic stuff happens. So let's get into how we hunt, shall we? Any other questions that I can answer before I get into the actual meat and bones of the hunt? Oh, someone, before we get into this, somebody asked what the GISH wand is like. I have an image of it. I can't show it to you yet, but it is really pretty, and not pretty is not the right word. Powerful. Very, very. So let's get into the hunt, the list, how to find the list, where it will be. Let's take that GISH wand and let's talk about the spellbinding level of magic we're about to experience. So I've seen a little bit of the list that Misha has created so far, and let me tell you, you are in store for some major, major magic. The list is filled with items. Those are creative challenges. They are designed by Misha to challenge you, to challenge your creativity, to have you do kind acts, bold kindness, and basically cast kindness around the world. But there are, they range, and sometimes they may not seem as magical or powerful as they are, but they might dawn on you while you're trying to achieve them. So just remember that. Part of it is the journey itself. Part of it is exploring your skills and what lights you up. And cursing Misha might be one of your love languages. I don't know. But they could be purely creative. They could be strange items. They could be adventurous. They could be puzzles, codes. And these are all going to be in the fantasy realm. So this is where, your experience with, Lord of the Rings and all the fun stuff that we all grew up with about magic this is that time. So if you want to cosplay, if you want to LARP in your house, if you want to, if you get as deep into it as you want, and Felicia and Misha will be right there with you. Some examples that we've had of some challenges in the past, if you've never seen a hunt list before, are dressing up in a ball gown of recycled goods, or creating a playlist to help an Alzheimer's patient reconnect with music therapy. Use toys to make a stop motion animation about CPR, write a haiku about an endangered species. There are tons and tons of different creative exercises that are meant to challenge and, again, pull as much creativity out of you, almost like a Horcrux, really, like a Horcrux of your creativity that we steal from. No, that's fake news. The kids menu, we also have a kids menu section. The kids menu was created ironically because Misha Collins wrote a book about not playing down or condescending children about their food habits. He is a big fan of kids eating what we eat. And as a father of 2 boys, I struggle with that. And we decided we were going to put a kids menu on the list that are things that you can play, whether you're a kid at heart or you have a kid at home. So there is no need to have children or adopt children or be in the presence of children to do these kids menu items. But they are a lot of fun if you enter into the spirit of childlike wonder and just having some fun. There will be a list of Zoom events like this. So get familiar with Zoom. Have your teammates download Zoom. It's a fun way. We generally also make sure that you have access to the Zooms after they've happened. We encourage you to be there as it happens. Oftentimes, if you're in a competitive space and you want to get items done, it's good to have teammates appear. The panelists that we have for our Zoom events, I can honestly say I would pay money to see these people speak. We're going to be announcing some of them shortly, but they are things that I've always wanted to see, that Misha, when we were talking about them, was like, this is so exciting. I would go to this event just to see these people. So it's going to be fun. And we're going to be announcing those over the next couple of days. So if there's stay tuned for that. But we'll put up a schedule of panels that you can attend to learn new things, and you'll get additional items from them. They will be in the list, the hunt list as well. Where you can find the hunt list. So the hunt starts at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning Pacific. So for our international friends, that time zone may vary. So make sure that you use an international clock to find out when that is for you. But the hunt list will be, when you log into your account, there'll be a hunt tab or a hunt list tab, and it will be in the app and on the website. I would go for the website if you feel like your app has been a little shaky or your service is a little shaky, but be there at 8 a.m. It is, do as many things on that list as you want. You can participate as much or as little as you want. Just stay in touch with your team and, decide ahead of time what your goal is. How many items do you want to accomplish? What lights you up? What will be fun to try? But you log into your account, there'll be a hunt list, and you just attend as many panels as you can or as you want. We would love to have you at all of them. We have purchased a rather large Zoom license to make sure that everyone can get into our Zooms that has registered. And we will also be sending you specific invites to those Zoom panels as well, and with reminders and stuff, hopefully. But those links to those Zooms will be in the hunt list. The panel schedule will always be at the top of that hunt list, and it will also be on social media. So hopefully you can put them in your calendar, figure out when they're happening. We would love to have you there, and we'll love to support the people that we're bringing in. We are committed to making sure that our hunt panelists represent a wide range of backgrounds and skills. So trust me when I say this, you will not want to miss them. So then you attend the panels, and then you earn points for submitting or uploading your submissions to win these prizes, which we can talk about in a moment. So a few hunt tips and tricks, shall we? Well, actually, let's answer some more questions. Let's answer some more questions. Okay. Will there be a recording of this after? Yes, we're going to be putting this up elsewhere so that you can find it. So yes, Emily Jones, we will be doing that. Ooh, someone asked, why can't we post pics until after the hunt is over? Great question. 2 reasons. 1, we don't want your creativity to influence the creativity of another. We want your creativity to be singularly your own, unless we say in the challenge, in the item on the list, post to social media, don't post it, because we want people to be bold and watch those mighty forces come to them as they create something without any influence whatsoever. There are items on the list that say, please post to social media and do X, Y, Z. Do those and you can post those. But if it doesn't say that, don't do it. Don't post it. There will be time when you can see what has been created by the community, and we'll get to that in a moment. But it's pretty special to see it later on as well. It's really fun, and you'll get a chance to look at lots of submissions after the hunt is done from other people. Let's see here. Great, let's move on. So before the hunt starts, in the next couple of days, make sure you read the rules and commandments. Make sure you understand them. And then also, let me just give you a couple of, we can kind of go through, there's a submission guidelines page that we'll talk about. I can actually show you that submissions guidelines page if you'd like to see it, because it kind of gives you some rules and guidelines for how to work on your stuff. So let me just pull that up here. Also, raise your hand if you're excited, because this is actually getting me excited. The more we talk about it, the more I'm like, all right, let's do the hunt right now. Like, let's do it this weekend. No, like, let's do it right now, because this genre is one of my favorites, and I'm just really excited about it. Let me see. Can everyone see the interpreter? I just want to make sure that everyone can see the interpreter. You may, if you're on a mobile device, you may need to swipe over and pin them yourself. You should be seeing what I see, but let me pull this up and we'll just make sure. Let's lower all the hands again, and then let me know if you can see the interpreter. And I'm actually going to jump out of video for a second. Great. Can you see the interpreter? Great. Okay, good. Thank you. You guys are so good at this. Thank you, folks. All right. So submission guidelines. So go to this page. It's just gish.com /submission-guidelines, and we'll put this up as well. But here's how you submit images. Here's how you go through the process of submitting your items. So with an image, it's pretty simple. You want to take a picture, you want to upload it to us, and then make sure you're taking a picture of the actual thing that we ask for, or you're drawing it, or however it's described. You should do exactly that way. But you upload it to us by selecting it and then uploading it. And if we say image or video, people saying that he is still not, so Jeffrey is still not visible, which is odd. Let me spotlight him for everyone. Can you see him now? Raise your hand. Fabulous. Oh my God, my entire screen is filled up with raised hands. I can't even see my screen. Can we remove the raised hands? That's amazing. I don't even know how to get my screen back, quite honestly. Wow. So, I literally can't see anything on my screen because there's so many raised hands. This is amazing. Okay, let me. Wow, thank you, everybody. So basically, we're going to go to that. We're going to go to that page and check out that page. It has how you do your image and video. And then that way you'll know ahead of time, okay, I'm going to upload a photo. I'm going to upload a link of my YouTube video, my unlisted YouTube video. And that's pretty much how you do that. What else? Heather just asked, I'm going to answer this one. Can we possibly work on having items that a disabled person can do at home alone? Heather, this is a really good question, and I appreciate you asking it. There should be in every list a ton of items that do not require you working directly with other people in your household, and in fact should be able to be done with varying levels of mobility. That is something that I know Misha and I have had lots of discussions about how to make a very creative but accessible opportunity for everybody. There should be plenty of things to do. Talk to your captain, let them know what your skills are, let them know, if you have a range of things that you are physically capable of doing, let them know where your strengths are and what you're best at and what you love doing. And then find which items, when the list comes out, fit that bill. We had another question that said, can people who are in it just for the fun of it help members of other teams? No. Collaboration has been a little bit different in these minis, but we still want you working with your team to do your work. There's a lot of reasons for that, but the most important of which is we want you to have a good time with your team and doing what you can do, not what you helping other teams do. If you're good at something, go for it. Let's see. Brianna asks, can I add something to the hunt? Yes, there will be a link going up today or tomorrow where you can submit your own hunt items, your own challenges, ideas you have, things you've always wanted to see. The more creative and wild and kind, the better. So definitely, when you see that come out on our social media, jump on it and fill out the form. There's another person asked, what if winning this hunt will affect winning the main hunt? It does not currently. You can win this hunt and potentially win the August hunt. If anything, these mini hunts are a great opportunity to work on your teamwork and figuring out your systems and communicating so that you can do the best job you can in August. And if you haven't seen it already, if you are already signed up for the August hunt, you get a discount on this hunt. And if you are not yet signed up for the August hunt, you can also sign up for the August hunt at a discount. So jump on it. We'd love to have you for both. Great. Let's move on. So 8 a.m. Saturday morning, March 6th, opening ceremonies. Attend if you can. We'd love to have you. The hunt runs from 8 a.m. Pacific to 8 p.m. Pacific on Sunday. It's about 36 hours if my math is correct, which often it's not. And you basically, the server is going to crash. It's just tradition. Y'all jump in and then suddenly all hell breaks loose in the best way possible. And we, no matter how many pennies and people and things we throw at the servers, you just manage to, it makes me, I'm fine. Everything's fine. What else? Review the list, look at it, breathe, take one step at a time. And team members can claim items to do. You can organize how you want to do this. It's totally up to you. Figure out whether it's one person uploading all the items or maybe individuals are uploading their own items. Complete your items. Get your items done. Attend panels for fun and to get more items. Submit before the hunt ends at 8 p.m. Pacific to get your points. I can't stress this enough. Don't wait until the last minute. Do not wait, because honestly, it's really important that you upload sooner the better, honestly, because every time, every hunt, we watch the website, try to keep it up, and it's just bananas. It's bananas. The whole thing is like struggling because there's all these procrastinators. I know nothing about procrastination whatsoever, so I don't relate to that at all, but I've heard about it. I've read about it in books. And just upload as much as you can, as early as you can. Zooms, we'll have a schedule of Zooms at the top of the list. Zooms will have an interpreter and captions. Hopefully, we're going to debug this thing with Zoom. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to have captions. Zooms will feature a host and some guests or a guest. And there's going to be a cool, you'll learn something new. You'll also get a new, some new things to do, some new items, some new challenges along with them. Those will be posted in the list. If you miss a Zoom, don't panic because it'll be posted to the list, so you'll be able to watch it. Submissions, obviously go to gish.com/submission guidelines. Check that out. Give us what we ask for. If we, genius interpretations may get you points, but it's a risk. So give us what we ask for exactly. If we ask for, I can't wait to watch Jeffrey try to sign this. If we ask for a photo of Bigfoot, we don't want a drawing of a Bigfoot. We want Bigfoot. If we ask for the Queen of England tap dancing on a coffee table, we mean the real life Queen tap dancing on a coffee table. But if we say drawing of the Queen, then draw Her Majesty. You get the idea. I don't have to go over that too much. Next, do not outsource or collaborate with other teams. This is an important one. You got to read those commandments and rules. Unless we ask for it, we want you to do your best on your own merit. Okay. So can someone who is not on your team help with an item? Yes, as long as they aren't on another team. You can't, and we really, listen, this is GISH. This is not like, we're not some mega corporation. We're just a small group of people who want to mess up the world in the best ways possible. So don't outsource. Don't pay for stuff like barter, trade, figure things out. But don't outsource everything that you're working on in your team. Do it yourselves. And in some instances, outsourcing are a little bit gray areas, but we expect teams to do their own work. And I think, keep your eyes on your own parchment. You know what I mean? Yeah. Cool. Jeffrey, thank you. Well composed photos and well lit, well done videos do better. There's going to be a period where the community gets to see your work too, and they're going to be looking at their favorites from all of the items. So make sure that you turn in something that you're proud of and is not blurry unless it's supposed to be blurry. But don't you can't Photoshop your items. Here's another one. Photoshopping is not how we roll, guys. Unless we say it in the actual item, you can't Photoshop it. You can't just be like, oh, look at this. I just made a face on a die. It's so lifelike looking. No, that's not what we want. We want you dressed up as a thing in real life. We want the real deal. Unless we say it in there. Photoshop okay, or it's okay to use digital art. Those are fine. Those are totally fine. Don't watermark your images. There's a few reasons for this. I know this has gone back and forth. Watermarking, it's sort of like this. I had an artist friend once tell me, you wouldn't put Michelangelo's name scribbled across, statue of David. You want your art to represent you. That being said, we try to credit teams whenever we share that content on social media. We try to do our best to make sure that people know who created these works of art or these weird random images that we see. Closed captions are great. Open captions, please do not. There's a few different reasons for that. We also encourage you all to make sure that things are accessible and able to be read. I I know the past year for me has been a real lesson in understanding the need for interpreters and captions. And my mind will never be the same for understanding better those challenges and those things and the lack of resources that are being given to those communities. And there's a number of other communities facing the same thing. We gotta work on that as a society. Try to tell your stories with your images, but don't do a collage unless we ask for one. A single great image is way better than a collage. That's weird. So on that note, and these are all important for judging, obviously, because we have 3 winning teams this year, but also for Harsh, which is our human analysis of really strange happenings. It is where you, the community, get to see tons of the work that were done by your fellow Gishers. That will be happening for this hunt as well. I think the other things to say here are, sometimes we break our own rules, just roll with it. We're chaotic good, and so are you most likely. And so, sometimes our rules are broken for good reasons. And sometimes, we might do something different than we initially said. And that's just part of our personality, our charming, our naturally nat personality. Try to submit high resolution images if you can, because generally for this hunt or for whatever, I'm not saying there will be a coffee table book for this hunt rather, but you saw mini hunts had a book and there's a coffee table book for the annual hunt. Make sure your images are large. People are saying they can't see me again. Cool. Okay, well, I'll just go back to this then. Boring me. And maybe if I spotlight myself. So let's keep going because we're almost done here. Updates page, make sure you're checking that. Items may change or be updated at random at any time. So check that updates page. That's your first place to look for any updates. We'll also post on social media subsequently once we changed it. But if you keep checking that updates page for new items, changes to items, deleted items, that's your best line of defense. Getting help. We don't ask for clarification on an item. Just don't. It's in the commandments. We don't do that. It's part of the challenge. It's part of our charm. It's part of why Misha is so damnable. It's because we don't do that. Do not reach out to GISH or GISHbot or the gnomes for clarification or requests to modify or fit your circumstances, or if it's okay to do something else instead. Use your judgment. I can unequivocally say this. This is one of the smartest, most creative groups of people I've ever seen in my life. And you're capable of great things. And we have full trust in you to be fully formed human beings. Maybe not adults, but human beings, because you're only young once, but you can be immature the rest of your life. Prizes. First ever triple prize. Yes. We're trying something new. I mean, 3 teams will win in one of 3 classes. The first is the Knights of the GISH Pentadecagonal table. I'm so sorry, Jeffrey. It's a 10-sided table, okay? Only the boldest and most adventurous team in the land with the courage to conquer our list will be knighted as part of the Royal Knights of the Pentadecagonal table. The second is the Bards of Gishlandia. No one can outcreate or outweird the team of jesters, performers, and Renaissance folk that will be named the official Bards of Gishlandia. The Bards of Gishlandia will be lauded throughout the land in epic poems and awarded with a mystery prize. And then the last prize here is, and not the least, because this is one of the most important things, the clerics of Gishlandia. So the team who uses their healing magic to cast charms and cantrips to ease the world's woes will be honored as the clerics of Gishlandia, and they're going to win a prize as well. So very important. Any other questions we need to go through? Any also, just make sure if you're on a mobile device, swipe over to see a group of people rather than just one, if you can't see Jeffrey. I mean, if you want to stare at me instead, I'm so sorry. There you go. What else? So what happens when the winning team wins? Well, there will be announcements, and there will be an announcement of those winning teams, and you know, that's going to be awesome. And then they'll get to find out what they won, because we have some fun things in mind. I think it's important here to also note that we would rather you spend as little money on the hunt as possible. You should not have to, the goal here is to complete the list and avoid, you know, doing them over and over again, doing things that are cost prohibitive. Part of the fun of a challenging experience is trying to come up with ways and lateral thinking that solve problems rather than the easy routes, which sometimes for some people can be money. For some people, they can pay it away. That's not what we are about. You are more important than money. Your well-being and your experience is more important. So why waste that? Why on using money, or you have other resources that are there for you. Networking with people, persuading people to do things. Misha and I have gotten in lots of trouble by persuading people to do things for us, but the best kinds of trouble, the best trouble. So beg, borrow, barter, and see what's possible when you're up against a wall. I know there have been times in my life when I had very little resource, and it forced me to think differently. It forced me to look at what was important, and it forced me to get creative with how I would, you know, stay afloat. And that's not to say that you know, that not having resources is somehow different in that way, but it's important that you know that you should be able to do almost all this stuff through networking and talking to people and using the power of, you know, blame it on Misha, blame it on, you know, hey, I'm working on this charity event and I have only this limited amount of time to get this thing done. Would you help me do this? It's a lesson in learning to ask for help. And it's a powerful one, and one I still struggle with. Are there any other questions? I mean, I'm just going to roll. There's, you know, 350 questions in here. So let me just see. Yep. So there are 3 categories that you're going to be winning in. I can't tell you any more than that right now. I'm not allowed to. It's a bit of the challenge. You have to then interpret what those 3 categories mean and look at the list and suss it for yourself. Alex asks, how does this hunt differ from past hunts? Well, it's a themed fantasy hunt, first of all. So if you like wizards and witches and rogues and D&D and Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, and you like any of these things, you're going to have a great time. If you don't like those things, or those aren't your favorite things, you're still going to have a great time, because these hunts are built for fun, and Misha really puts a lot of time and effort in carrying them. What else can I tell you? Yes, a charity has been chosen for registration. 1 warm coat. We're donating 2 coats for basic registration and 4 coats for upper registration. There will also be a charity Change Life, and you've changed many lives. This one will be no different. You will be asked to help, not out of your own pocket, but by tapping into your family and friends and saying, hey, here's a situation going on. I need your help fixing and supporting it, to change the situation for people with overwhelming hardship, or decades and centuries of mistreatment, or, you know, people in dire circumstances. You will find that out during the hunt. It's one of my favorite things about, it's part of the reason I started working here 4 years ago. I've known Misha for, gosh, almost two decades now. And when I started working with him on this magical quest, it was one of the things that really changed my life. Watching you all change the lives of others. So thank you for that. Why are items deleted? Good questions if you've already done them. So there are times when we get feedback that I am under a non-disclosure talking about, where things do not go as they should, or the language that was used is maybe not quite right or not accurate. So I will say this: those items needed to be deleted so that we can continue pressing on. They don't happen quite as frequently, and that's hopefully a good thing. But it's important to know that sometimes items can be deleted, and we'll still accept what you've submitted to us, but just know that. All right, just a couple final few questions. How much fantasy related items will this hunt have approximately? Super excited. Allison, so am I. There will be a lot that's familiar from past hunts in terms of what you're doing, but it would be good to have people on your team who are familiar with some aspect. I'm a big Ursula Le Guin fan. I loved Wizard of Earthsea. I grew up reading those books. Wizard of Earthsea is in my top 3 to 5. So I would go into this saying, like, here's my knowledge of this subject. And I would say, I know that those books inside and out. Or having another person who knows codes and being a mastermind and rogue who can pick locks and decode things, always a good idea. Anyway, I mean, this is going to be exciting. Let me see. Okay, well, I'm going to close this out. We have to bid adieu. Remember, you can always ask GISH questions. You can ask GISHbot questions. And then if you ever need anything with your account or an issue with, you know, anything relating to the website or whatever, email support@gishwhes.com. support@GISHWHES. Yes, we are still on the old email systems. We're here to help. We will not be clarifying items. We may not always respond quickly because we're a small group of people who really care about this thing. But GISH and GISHbot and support are your lines of defense. Be kind. You're all in this together, and it's going to be a magical quest. Have fun. You know, if you aren't having fun, take a deep breath, cast an enjoyment spell, spin around counterclockwise 3 times until you're in the southern hemisphere, in which case spin around clockwise 3 times, and then make dragon sounds. I don't know, move forward in the direction of fun and you'll find it again. There's magic to be had and created. So let's do a little good. Let's play for good. Let's gamify good. And Misha will have lots of information for you soon. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, everybody behind the scenes. Chris, Kristen, everybody. A good night.